What is art and why do we like it? Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am one of the co-hosts for Framed in September. This is an event, the brainchild of Elisabeth at Bookins and Books. I am being joined with the other co-hosts, Hannah at Hannah's Books, Lindsay's Magpie Reads, and Heather Gregg. We are out to celebrate art in books, and I will list a link to all of our announcement videos so you can learn a little bit more about this event. Today, I want to give you a tour of my art books. It will be September 1st when I release this video. My art books are not extensive. It is certainly not a massive collection, but I think I have some unusual art books, and I will show them to you. The first is a book that I saw somewhere on BookTube. I don't remember the channel that I saw it on, but this is 1001 Paintings You Must See Before You Die. And true to form is that there are 1001 paintings in this book. A painting per page that gives you what you can see and a short description of that painting. I have always just wanted to pick this up and peruse this book. I don't think this is the type of book that you would read from cover to cover and just back to back. Just peruse this book. See what you think about the art. So I think I'm going to be looking at these during the month of September. This was not initially on my TBR, but I really think I should pick it up and maybe give you the highlights at the end of the month. Now, this is an art book. Some people may claim it's not an art book, but it is an art book. This is Men's Adventure magazine. This shows you the covers of the very pulpy men's magazines. They're not politically correct nowadays. They are, let's just say, a little risque, but they are artwork. They are artwork that would appeal very differently than the 1001 paintings that you must see before you die, because the audience was basically working class men fantasizing about their adventures and some sexy women. I think some of these covers are absolutely fantastic, and I do consider them art. The World, this is called The World of Goya. And this is just your standard fare art book showing you the works of Goya. And it has text. I have never actually read an art book like this from cover to cover. I just occasionally look at the paintings. Visions of Poe. This is actually mostly text. This is some of the works of Edgar Allan Poe. But as you can see, a photographer has put artistic photographs next to some of these stories just to give you a feel of what he thinks these stories are like. Now this one, I have not seen it before. I think it's rather fascinating. This is called Man After Man. The subtitle is An Anthropology of the Future. And it is this artist's interpretation on how humans might evolve over a long period of time and what kind of creatures we will look like. So if you look at here, there is Aquaticus. And this is what would happen if humans evolved as an aquatic man. And he says that is 50,000 years in the future. There's actually quite a bit of text here. We have one about man 300 years in the future. We still look rather human, but this is sort of the post-apocalyptic version of humanity. And then we have these other, I'm trying to find good pictures that hold up. There's another vision of what a human might look like 1 million years in the future. As I said, there's a lot of text in here describing what he thinks humans would look like. And that one is called Forest Dweller, 500,000 years in the future. So this is sort of a mixture of science fiction and science fiction art. The Devil by Dennis Wheatley. He was known for writing horror novels about black magic right around World War II-ish and before. He's rather quaint. He's very British. His horror is rather tame by today's standards, but this is his history of the devil in artwork. And by artwork, he includes things like masks, some paintings, I think that is that a photograph of devil worship? Might be. But that's kind of a curious, oh, look at that. Some sort of rooster devil god. So I've only perused the pictures. I have not read the text. I think it might actually be interesting to see what a British man would have thought of the devil during the mid-20th century. Now this is standard fare. This is History of Art by W.H. Jensen. This is essentially what college students get assigned back in the 80s if they wanted to take an art history class. And lots of painting pictures, some photography, and a lot of text. I never was actually an art student. I picked this up as a remainder. I think what happened was that they put out a new version of the book, and that one was just dirt cheap, so I picked it up. I have another Goya art book. I'm really rather fond of Goya, or I was fond of Goya in my 20s. I may have sort of moved on from Goya, but he's still a fascinating artist. My favorite is, of course, Saturno. That is his, this is not Saturno, this is The Witch's Sabbath. And this one looks mostly just paintings with very little text. Georgia O'Keeffe, the famous 20th century artist. She was mostly based out of the Southwest. Actually, I think this is my wife's art book. She was a big fan, or is still a big fan, of Georgia O'Keeffe. She has some really rather interesting paintings like that. This is Maurice Utillo. He was, I believe, a French painter. I'm not really familiar with him. I'm not even sure how I got this book. If I'm not completely mistaken, I believe it was when I was working at Crown Books, and the manager of the store had this, and he had to get rid of some of his books, and he just said, "You want an art book?" And I said, "Okay." So I don't know anything about this artist. This has a lot of text and not as many reproductions. Well, they have some reproductions. Let's lean over there, lean over there. So a French artist, I think. No big surprise, more Goya. This is from the world of Goya, 1746 to 1828. This is a series of hardcovers called The World of X, and X is just whatever artists they are showing. And you get lots of Goya. I'm sure Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics has a number of these World of Artist books. If he ever comes to visit, again, I just might give him this book so he can make a bigger collection of the World of hardcovers. Or Goya. And last is James Esnor with text by Paul West. Paul West was once a highly respected American author. He has fallen a bit on the wayside. No one really talks about his books anymore. I think a lot of them are out of print, but the ones that I read are pretty good. I did read this book in its entirety for my last 100 book challenge, and I basically read it because, it's a book about 100 pages long, and it counted. He does have some interesting artwork. That one is called The Painter Skeletonized in the Studio. And he has one painting that, if I can find it, I will show it. I think it's rather amusing. Two skeletons fighting over a fish or a herring. So that is my meager collection of art books. I am really looking forward to Framed in September, and I want to get cracking on those 1001 paintings before you must die. At least look at some of those and read some of those for this month. I hope you will participate in Framed in September. You really only have to read one book of art, fiction or nonfiction. We also encourage you to go out and experience art. That could be an art gallery, that could be a concert, it could be a dance, whatever you think art is. Go out and experience art for Framed in September. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading and looking for art.